Welcome back to Nick Lenz's movie review, episode number 82. This one I'm reviewing the 12th James Bond film and the 5th, yes, 5th Roger Moore film, For Your Eyes Only. Released in 1981, the first of 5 films released in the 80s. Oh, and by the way, here's something fun fact you might not know about the director's film, John Glenn. He directed all the James Bond films that were released in the 80s. This is actually the first one. As a matter of fact, his first 5 films directed were all Bond films. Isn't that interesting? Yep, this one is now Moonraker was the last one released in the 70s. It was the first one for the 80s, and I don't know if any major films were released this year, like any noteworthy ones. But here's something interesting though about this particular film. Was this film? Yeah, I think it was this one. Where I think it was. Let me take a look and see about this. I think that. Excuse me. No, it's not this film that has a release of another James Bond film. Yep, because of the fact we went to space in the last film, let's bring Bond down to Earth for a serious film. I mean, the film has a very weird opening title sequence. Okay, we have a very sad moment with Bond visiting his late wife's grave, Tracy Bond, making her second reference appearance since On Majesty's Secret Service. And he goes off in a helicopter. Yeah, this is also the same part of the thing. And then he flies on a helicopter, and the helicopter is killed, so like the thing is still flying. Here's something really, really weird to happen. Okay, and then all of a sudden we have a bald man with a neck brace with a Persian cat. This is implied to be Blofeld. Yes, Blofeld. They couldn't say it's Blofeld because, from what I heard, there was a bunch of legal stuff involving the character again. Yep. After not using the character for 10 years. Yes, it had been 10 years since the character's last on-screen appearance back in Diamonds Are Forever, but they couldn't use his name. This is possibly Blofeld, but they can't claim it is because of Kel McClory sticking his nose in for no reason. Yep, so Bond basically just takes a helicopter, takes one of the legs of the helicopter, puts it underneath the quote-unquote Blofeld's wheelchair, picks him up and drops him out of the smokestack. Also, he tries to bribe him with delicatessen and stainless steel. Yeah, that's complete bullcrap. Yep. Yeah, and also, we also see the Havelocks in this movie, and they're killed. And this is one of several things that happen to begin in this movie. Yeah, they're killed by a Cuban hitman. Yeah, basically are shot by freaking bullets. And we also have a British, I think it's supposed to be a British tech ship, and it's sunk. And then there's some divers heading down there. Yeah, this is probably the only film I can think of where Bond goes down in the submarine, aside from The Spy Who Loved Me. The divers take this communications device that's the size of a typewriter, well, a small typewriter, and that's the beginning of the film. Beginning of the film, not the whole thing. Also, I forgot to mention when it comes to Moonraker, it's the last film to feature the late Bernard Lee. With this film, because of Bernard Lee's unexpected death, M is written to be on leave and replaced with Bill Tanner. Yep, Bill Tanner and the Minister of Defense Frederick Gray. Yep, and the guy who plays Bill Tanner, is, let's see, where is he? Let's see, where are you, Bill Tanner? Okay, the guy who played him is a guy named James Villiers. Hmm. Yeah, his only time he plays Bill Tanner, and he's very unlikable. Yeah. Too bad it takes until the Pierce Bronson film was to make him a much more likable character. Yep. Oh, and by the way, Bill Tanner a lot of the time sits in M's chair, or it's Frederick Gray. Yep. So all the lines that are supposed to go to M went to Frederick Gray and Bill Tanner. Yep. And of course, because it's the 80s, let's have some computer tech do say, have Q basically make up a sketch of a guy Bond saw, though hilarious fashion. Eventually they find him, and he turns out he's a Cuban hitman. Yep. And then Bond basically later on goes to confront him. The guy is killed by an arrow. Yep, an arrow while trying to jump into a pool. Also, when the scene is, there's a woman walks by this scene, and this I thought was really, really weird. Calvin Dice mentioned an old video of review of this film. Apparently, there was a woman who actually used to be a guy. Yep, used to be a guy. Yeah, Melina. That's the name of the character. Finally runs into her, and Bond tries to take his car. Car blows up, takes Melina's car, and basically rolls down a hill with it. Somehow that's able to still move, despite the fact it should be freaking wrecked. And able to get away from all the Cuban hitman's henchmen. Yep. And Bond trying to figure out who the heck is behind the death of this thing and the death of Havelocks, who ordered the hit anyways. Yeah, we also can choose Julian Glover's character, Christatos. Spoiler for this character, he's the main villain of the film. Despite the fact there's nothing to him that makes him villainous. It's like, oh, later on he's just evil. Like, they claim it's a smuggler character who's actually, well, the villain, but nope. It's all a big fat lie. Yeah, that's the thing with, so they can't keep who the villain is. Uh-huh. Yep. Hmm. Let's see. We also have a character named Phoebe Doll who is infatuated with Bond to the point where basically sort of have a crush on him. At one point, get this, she takes a shower in his hotel room and later on hops into his bed butt naked and she proceeds to make out with him and he turns her down. Probably because he's supposed to be probably in his 40s, I'd say. Apparently this woman's supposed to be like 19. Yeah, the woman herself was, let's see, 58. So she was probably in her early 20s, I'd say. But Bond kept turning her down. Yeah, he's probably like, it's like one woman show for you. It was like, nope, you're not, I'm not interested in you. This is like a beautiful woman. She kept turning him down. Yep, and of course they have, well, the smuggler character. What is his name here as well? I'm trying to find exactly like the name of the. Oh yeah, here he is. Columbo. Yep. Yeah, this is the guy who they think is the villain, but nope, not really at all. And the guy proves that got Chrysalis as the villain by taking him to one of his bases. Yep. Yeah, this movie is like point A to point B. We have Largo, who was one of the supporting characters in the movie, he gets killed by this silent hitman who Bond kills by locking him in the car, throwing him with his pen, and toss the car with him and over a freaking cliff. Just kicks the car, and that kills him. Yep. It's been a while since I've watched this film. I'm trying to remember basically what happened in this movie. Let's see. We also have Bond going underwater in a submarine. A mini sub goes down to the thing and has an underwater battle. Yeah, second time in the series we have an underwater battle. This time between just Bond and other mini sub trying to kill him. The other time was just a group of underwater marines fighting a bunch of Spectre henchmen, and we couldn't even tell what the heck who was who in this particular scene. This one we can definitely tell. It's almost a heck of a lot better, and at least got to praise the fact that John Glenn can actually direct an actual underwater scene better than Terrence Young. Yeah, better than Terrence Young. Yep, who came back for Thunderball, and that was his last one we did for the series. Later on, Bond and Melina pops up various through the course of the film, and they get captured. Like, one point, she gets called someplace, Bond's like, no, don't come here. It's like, is he on her boat? And of course, we're talking Bird. And then they go to his headquarters, and I should point out about Melina. She is a character who follows Bond the whole film. She gets captured with Bond, and she later escapes. She's by far probably the only Bond girl I can think of who does not get captured by the villain. She stays with Bond the entire film. It's not one point she's captured, held hostage. Nope, never is for some reason. Christados basically stole this particular device to sell to the Russians for some reason. I have no idea why. His henchman named Hans is just this blonde, muscular assassin who, to me, it's basically John Glenn's attempt to basically recreate Robert Shaw's character, Red Grant. Yeah. Blonde, blue eye, muscular assassin. Yep. I have no idea of why in the world they thought this was a good idea. The character's not even interesting at all. Like, my gosh. He's just not interesting at all. Okay, his name is Eric Klinger. Yeah, definitely Hans. Like, blonde muscular assassin was all in black. And here's the thing about Christos. I agree, he is not interesting as a villain. I mean, Julian Glover is a good actor, but my gosh, he is not interesting as a villain. And they go to his base, which is a monastery. It's like, and of course, Melina makes a quote like, we're like 5 men and 1 woman. And they get up there via this basket. They get up there, start a little shooting thing. I mean, it's like that John Glenn was trying to recreate what was popular for the last 2 movies, like a massive gun battle sequence. Except those involve humongous armies, like roughly more than 5 people. In those 2 films, like close to about 100 people. This is like 5 guys against 5 other guys. By the way, this monster is actually real, believe it or not. Yes, this place was real. And eventually, Christos is killed by Columbo. Also, Bibi, believe it or not, is a woman who was Christos sponsoring for the Olympics. And he wants to go to Cuba, and she wants to the Olympics. And of course, he slaps her, and of course, her coach, which they think is very protective of her, yeah, she does care about like her coach basically is like a mother figure to her. And then eventually after, Christos is killed, Columbo becomes the new sponsor. Yep. Oh yeah, and Bond runs Joan Gogol in this film. Who, by the way, the first time you've seen the film, his secretary's desk has moved into his office. This gigantic office that looks like a room you see in a church. Yeah, his office is huge. This is bigger than an office I've seen. Yeah, it's basically the size of a living room. It is so big. There's no reason for it to be this big. And then we have a secretary there who he later holds hands with. Yeah, there's no explained reason of why his secretary is actually in this room. At all. It's just that, what was wrong with her in her own office? No, let's have... Yeah. Bond meets John Gogol again. And by the way, this is actually his third and last appearance in the series. Yes, he appears next film in a brief cameo, and he appears in a cameo in the following film. And that's all you see of the character. Well, actually, he does appear in Octopussy, but the last two films, he just appears for cameos. Yep, basically Bond takes things, like plays Gogol, and then he just throws a little clip, destroys it, and Gogol's like, that was Gogol like, I don't have it, you don't have it. I'm surprised he doesn't tell Gogol like, say hi to Agent Triple X for me. Yeah. Bond takes Melina to the boat that Melina has. They take off the robes, and they go skinny dipping. Also, we have, believe it or not, one of the most awkward endings of a Bond film I have ever seen. Apparently, Sir Frederick Grey, the guy they call out the Prime Minister, who, by the way, was the actual Prime Minister at this point, Margaret frickin' Thatcher. It's somebody who stands in for her, but having Margaret Thatcher in the movie, like, oh my gosh. Yeah, this was completely unnecessary. Yeah, because, she was the Prime Minister at that point, so why not throw her in a movie? And she was by far the first female Prime Minister in UK history, and you throw her in the film for a cameo? Yeah. Now, in my opinion, the movie is okay. It's not my favorite Bond films, but the next one was a lot more interesting than this thing. At least there's a lot more memorable stuff in that film than this. Oh, and by the way, in the case of this particular film, how many times does basically Bond take a woman to bed? Once, and that's Melina. That's it. Yeah, there's no explained reason why that we have to have just one woman. Oh, by the way, this adaptation, now if you read the Bond short stories, this feels like it's an adaptation of what I heard. This is an adaptation about 3 short stories they adapted for this film. Okay? Yeah, the whole thing of finding Melina and taking to base to kill Christatos. Yeah, that takes them like 3 short stories while taking inspiration from other books. Yeah. Now, is it as bad as Thunderball? Oh no. Thunderball is bad. This is just okay. It's slightly better than Thunderball. That's my opinion. I know some people do like this film. Me, I think it's okay. There's some interesting stuff with it. I do agree, Melina is one of the most boringest. I mean, for a Bond girl, she is so boring. I mean, the actress is gorgeous, but that's all she has for her is a good looks. I mean, she puts on a good performance, but my gosh, they made this Bond girl so boring. It's like, okay, she wants revenge for her parents' death. Okay. She kills the guy responsible. And then what's the whole point of having her in the movie? I heard that I haven't read the 4 Hours Only short story. Apparently, the Havelocks are all friends of M. In the film, M never interacts because M is not in the film because the actor died. Yep. This is just an okay movie. Now, like I said, it's been like a year or 2 since I've seen this movie last, but my gosh. It's just okay. It is slightly better than Thunderball in the fact that we're not playing catch-up a lot of the time. The pacing is okay. For John Glenn's first outing, he did an okay job with this movie. The movie looks really good. But this movie series gets a lot better with its second attempt, Octopussy. Yep, so, yeah, not much else to say about this movie, aside from the fact that, it's just okay. I mean, the movies do get a heck of a lot better at this and a lot more interesting. This movie, I mean, heck, the final act is just okay. It's very below average for a Bond final battle sequence. It's like he was trying to go for it, but I guess John Glenn didn't basically have enough money. That's the thing. I don't think he had enough money to do a massive gun battle sequence. I'm sure he wanted to, but no money. That's my opinion. Oh, by the way, how is Eric killed? Eric is killed by Bond. I think he's killed by simply shoving off the cliff. Yeah, while Christados is stabbed in the back with a knife. Yes, a knife. Yeah, he's one of 2 villains killed in the series by a knife. The other, of course, is the main villain of Skyfall, which I'll talk about that in a later video. Okay? Not much to say about this film, but the next one was a lot better than this thing. Okay? So, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for tomorrow for my reviews for the newest episode, JoJo's Adventures, which is the second to last episode of the season, the newest chapter of My Hero Academia, and a review of the second to last of Roger Moore film with James Bond, Octopussy. And by the way, this movie is a heck of a lot better than 4 Eyes Only. That's just my opinion anyways. I mean, yes, Live and Let Die was at least interesting. It was exciting. Yeah. Doesn't have a bit small scale, but at least it was interesting. Same thing with The Man with the Golden Gun. Whenever I watch them, I just enjoy it. This film, I've never found enjoyment watching. Yeah, it's just okay. Nothing really wows me when it comes to this movie. I mean, the villain is basically forgettable. I mean, the only reason why I know he's the villain because of Calvin Dyson's review. Yeah, because it's just been so long since I've seen this movie. I remember watched Octopus in this movie. Yeah, so that's it. So see you tomorrow. Bye.